Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Zapier plus Apify, Building AI Agents with Real-Time Web Data. My name is Matt Brown, and I will be your host today. First up, I'd love to hear where everyone is tuning in from. Go ahead and tell us where you're based in the chat. I can start. I'm from Chicago. Hello from Lincoln Park. It's chilly here, but bright fall day. So while folks chime in on that on the chat, let's go through a little bit of housekeeping. First up, heads up, this is a live webinar. I am not AI. We have live panelists here. We can answer your questions throughout. Just put those questions in the Q&A tab. You'll see there's a chat tab and a Q&A tab. You're welcome to chat with other attendees. But if you've got a question, please put it into the questions tab. You can upvote questions from other attendees. That'll help us prioritize if we get a lot of questions. And yeah, just keep in mind we might do some interactions during the presentation, but we also have a dedicated live Q&A at the very end of the session. Finally, if you run into any technical issues along the way, just refresh your page. That usually solves everything. If you have more problems, we recommend Google Chrome. That's often easiest. And yeah. Before we start the session, let's do a quick poll to understand the experience levels of our audience with the products. Alicia, if you could, perfect. We'll let everyone vote on that. And while that vote is running, I'll do a quick introduction, overview of the topics that we're going to cover today. First, we're going to do a very, very brief introduction to the tools in case this is your first time with either Zapier or Apify. And then we'll get into the demos. We've got demos from all the folks on stage here. We've got one demo on lead gen and cold outreach. That's from Mike. We've got a demo on MCP servers and agentic workflows from Sameh. And then a demo on AI-powered customer support chat from Lukas. They're all awesome. Highly recommend you stick with us and watch these because they are very, very cool. And then we'll wrap things up with a live audience Q&A after going through all the demos. We'll run those back to back to back. That quick intro, as promised, on Zapier. In case this is your first time with Zapier, I'll be brief here. But Zapier is the world's most connected AI orchestration platform. We spent the past 14 years building out API connections to over 8,000 of your favorite applications. So things like ChatGPT, Google Sheets, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Gmail, HubSpot, Slack, Salesforce, you name it, there's probably a connection to it. We've also spent the past few years building out some interconnected products like Zaps, tables, interfaces, chatbots, agents, and MCP. All of which allows you to build AI workflows in minutes. I could talk for an hour about that, but would much prefer to just show you with the upcoming demos. I'll pass it over to Lukas. You want to talk quickly about Apify?
Yeah, sure. So I'll quickly share my screen here. And well, Apify is basically a full-stack web scraping platform that turns any website into an API so that you can get like the data that you need for your use case. So, and the cornerstone of our product is our store, where you can find over 8,000 tools for pretty much anything. So whether you need some data from social platforms or search engines, we got you covered. And if we don't have the tool that you need, you can build it yourself because we have an open source solution for anyone to build the scraper for themselves. So that's kind of Apify in a nutshell.
Love it. All right, let's get back to these slides. Very quick introduction, just names and faces. These are our demo authors and presenters, Mike Russell, Sameh, and Lukas. Mike's from Creator Magic. You might recognize him from his very popular YouTube channel and social media. And then Sameh and Lukas are both from Apify. So without further ado, let's get the demo started.
Hello, I'm Mike. What if small business leads built themselves and enriched themselves instantly using AI, even getting an AI agent to call small business leads on the fly? Well, in around 10 minutes, we will build something with AI that searches a US government website for small businesses, sends them to a table, enriches them with AI, and even finds the phone number to make a call with a tool called SynthFlow. Let's dive in. I'll be using a tool called Apify, which basically can make an API for any website, and we'll be using the small business search website from the US government to find, well, whatever it is we're looking for. For instance, I can type in plumber and instantly have a bunch of business connections with email addresses. Now, the real power of using Apify is you can build your own actors, which can search and pull information from the web and store in nice tables for you. I'll post a link to use them down below if you're inspired by this video. Let's build our own actor now to get that data. Now, inside Apify, we can click Develop New, and we can choose from a code template. But we're not going to do that. We're going to let AI do all this for us. Here I am inside Cursor, and I've basically copied and pasted a load of documents from Apify into a big agents.md file, which will tell my AI exactly how to build my actor, which is something that searches the web for me. Now, to build this, we'll use OpenAI Codex, and I'll also use an MCP tool called Chrome DevTools to check the website and find how it works. Chrome DevTools will spin up a virtual web browser to find how the website works. First, install Codex. I've already done that. And next, we'll install Google Chrome DevTools with one command as well. And that's all set. Now I can clear my terminal down, and I can type Codex -- YOLO, you only live once, to run in automated mode. Now you'll see I get OpenAI Codex all loaded up. I'm using the GPT-5 Codex High model to do this, and because I've got all the instructions in my agents.md file, all I need to do is go to the web and grab a copy of this web URL, and we'll just type in a simple prompt: build an Apify actor for this site, and then paste in the URL and hit enter. First, you can see it's made a nice to-do list of exactly what it's going to do, such as reviewing structure, analyzing sites, and implementing the logic. It's read the agents.md file, so it knows exactly what it has to do. Now you can see it's preparing to spin open a web browser. This is not me controlling the computer. This is my AI tool spinning up this website and testing it out. Now we can see it's actually entered the search box and typed a search. It's found some results, and it's verifying through the dev tools exactly what's happening with this website in order to choose the perfect template and build this actor right here inside Cursor for me. Now, do remember, as this is getting built out, use tools like this respectfully, respect terms of service, and also use it for research and outreach, not spam. As you can see here, it's investigating how all the advanced search functions work, so we can get a really good actor that can search this website programmatically for me. The best thing about Codex is it doesn't stop until it's got a working product, so you can go away and do other things while your AI agent completely codes your Apify actor for you. Look at this, I'm not touching the keyboard, but yet the Chrome browser is being controlled by AI. This is a real example, in my opinion, of where AI and automation is going. Okay, it's updating the code. You can see all the US states are being added here as filters. Now, if we go ahead and look at storage and data sets, we can see some data has been pulled in, and real results are actually getting pulled locally by my Apify actor. This is fantastic news, indicating it's working. Okay, it's updated the plan. It's ticked everything off. It's wrapping up here. 16 minutes of work, and my Apify actor is ready to go. So now that this is all created, I'm going to actually create and publish this on GitHub, and I'll publish this as a private repository on my own Git profile. Now, under New Actor in Apify, I can just link a Git repository. I've now linked this repository. I'll click Add. There it is, created. And now we need to build the actor for the first time using this button. Now, it failed the first build. Don't worry, this is a common thing. We'll let Codex fix it for us. Okay, now the build has succeeded. We can go to the beautiful input area and type in a search just like we would on the website, but this time we're doing it programmatically. Let's type in New York, and the search term will be plumber. We can save and start. And you'll see our actor will spin into action, spinning up this little virtual computer in the cloud to find the data we need. And for a quick test, I just wanted to get 4 results. That's exactly what I have. And when I go to the output, we can view all this rich data of plumber companies that are based in New York. Okay, that's great. So in a short amount of time, we've learned the power of building an Apify actor to grab data from the internet. But what about putting it into a workflow where we can enrich that data and maybe even reach out automatically to those companies? Well, that's where, after a run, we can insert an integration and we can call a webhook to start a Zapier automation. We'll just say start when run succeeded, and then here we'll need to put a URL in, which we'll grab from our Zapier automation. And for the trigger, we've selected a webhook. We'll choose to trigger the catch hook. Now it's going to give us a URL to copy and paste here into our Apify Actor. With that done, every time I use my Apify Actor to get data from the internet or start a search, the moment that data is collected, it'll send it off to Zapier. Let's try again and see if it works by searching for coffee in California. We'll save and start this. And you'll see here from the logs, my Apify Actor managed to grab 42 coffee places in California. And now over here in Zapier, if we test this trigger, look, we've got one result. Let's open it. Now, at the moment, you'll just see a bunch of IDs, and there's no actual data there. How do we get that juicy data and start doing cool things with it? Well, we need to continue from this, and we need to add in the Apify integration inside Zapier with the action event of fetch dataset items. So for the dataset, we do a / and we map dataset, which is right here, from our initial webhook. Yes, it's sent from Apify to Zapier, just like that. We don't need to put anything else in here, just the dataset ID. Click continue, and we'll test the step. And look at this. If I open this and make it bigger, you'll actually see it's grabbed everything from the dataset. You'll see here there are 42 items in here, and there's a bunch of data that we can now use in a really useful way. So just to recap, so far we've built an Apify Actor inside Cursor using OpenAI Codex. We deployed it via Git to Apify, and we're able to put inputs in here and start it. We used an integration, a webhook, to send the data over to Zapier. Zapier then receives the dataset and fetches all the items. And now we'll go ahead and we will loop through each item using looping by Zapier. We'll create that loop from line items, and we choose what to pass into the loop. So first of all, the legal business name. I think address would be a good idea as well for each item. Contact person is going to be a great idea as well. And how about that juicy email address as well? Yep, it's working. The loop is taking just the data we need from Apify and passing it through so we can work with each item one by one. Now we've got this working, I'll enrich the data with AI. What better tool to use than Perplexity with its real-time web searching? Now for the system message, I'll say, please output only the phone number if found. Then we'll go ahead and map in the business name here. And also underneath, why not map in the business address? Okay, we can see Perplexity completed its search, and if we scroll down to look for the output, we can see it has indeed found a bunch of phone numbers from across the web. This is really cool. Now, sadly, Perplexity didn't pay attention to my instructions. It did not put only the phone number there. It actually put out quite a lot of information. So I'll now add a new step, and we'll add AI by Zapier to clean this up. You'll notice all these models, including GPT-5 Mini, is included. For this prompt, I'll say find the best number from this input and choose local over toll free where possible. Now, because AI by Zapier is always judging me and telling me I'm weak, I'll click to improve the prompt. That's just one click. I'm now okay. And because we're looking for a consistent output, I'll generate that from the prompt. And look at this, it's made two output fields, local and toll-free phone number. Let's generate a preview on this single piece of data. Boom, look at that. From the input data there, we now have a clean local number and a clean toll-free number. This is perfect. We're getting really juicy data. Let's organize it into a Zapier table. First of all, at tables.zapier.com, I will go ahead and create a brand new table. We'll start with a blank table and call it SBA Outreach. Now we'll add some fields. Okay, with all those fields created, we'll select tables here. We'll click Create Record, choose our SBA Outreach table. We're mapping in everything from our loop. And then the phone number from AI. Okay, now we've got everything built. It's time for a test run. This is going to run in real time. And you'll see right now we're running a test here, and it's going through fetching all the data from Apify and looping it through in real time so that very soon we're going to see some data appear in our Zapier table. And here we go. It's just about to hit the Zapier table area. And look at this, we can actually see that our data is starting to populate in here bit by bit, and we're starting to see some phone numbers appear in the phone area where Perplexity has reached out to the web and managed to find some real leads that we can actually call. Again, favoring local numbers over toll-free. This is really cool stuff, and I'd say about 80% here of our leads actually have contact phone numbers. Okay, because we want to be ethical about this and not just spam call a bunch of businesses in bulk, I'm going to add a new field to my Zapier table with a button. We'll call this field Call Contact. We can choose a phone icon. We'll type in call as the button label, and we'll get it to trigger a zap. Now, the final step is to set up a zap, which we can create here, which will open up our editor with the trigger zap button clicked, starting our automation. Perfect. We've pulled in a record here with a phone number, so we can continue. And we'll say when the button is clicked, we'll use SynthFlow AI to create a real-time voice call using our AI assistant. You'll see over here in SynthFlow, I've made Mike's AI agent with a number that can make outbound calls. So I'll copy my model ID, paste this in here, map in the phone number from Zapier tables, map in the name from Zapier tables. We can even give it an email as well because it has the power to follow up and email our contact after the call. This is really cool stuff. And if you want to dive deep into the capabilities of SynthFlow, definitely watch my dedicated video on how I built a SynthFlow AI agent to negotiate the best price on a taxi ride for me. Now for my AI agent prompt, I'll say, ask contact if they need British roasted coffee beans. I'll publish this app, and for good measure, I'll publish this app, which pulls in the data as well. And with that all done, we can go back over to our Zapier table and see we have a nice phone call button next to all of our contact details. But what's more, we don't want to call fields with blank phone numbers, so this is where we can make the perfect filter. Yes, all I've got to do to this table now is simply go up to the filter section up here, and then we'll choose add a condition, we'll choose a field, it will be the phone field, and then we'll choose starts with, and we'll put an open bracket because every field with a phone number starts with a bracket. And boom, now we've got a list ready to go and ready to call at the click of a button. All right, this is great and all that, but does it actually work in practice? First, let's pick a voice for my AI agent.
They said it couldn't be done.
Nope, not that one.
You shall behold the grandeur of Grimsby Manor.
That one. Now let's beef up the prompt a bit. Use comedy where necessary. It really is your ultimate job to sell those beans, and comedy is your best weapon. Say you'll also follow up with an email after the call. Excellent. That's great. Now all that's left to do is click one of these call buttons. Let's do it.
Can I help you?
Hello there.
Hi.
Care for a taste of the finest British roasted coffee beans?
I'm sorry, what?
Hand roasted under the misty drizzle of London mornings.
And it's okay?
Precisely. That's why we're so obsessed.
With coffee?
Buy the beans. They come in Union Jack bags. I'll throw in Prince Harry.
Well, there you go. Not too bad at all. And take a look. There's also an email that went out. As you can see there, mixing amazing tools such as Apify for grabbing data from the web by building our own actor that can do that action for us, connecting it via webhook to Zapier to get and enrich that data and place it in a Zapier table, and then connecting it into SynthFlow and being able to call each contact with the click of a single button and have our AI agent negotiate with our potential lead. This is the future of automated outreach and exactly what I bang on about all the time when I mention AI employees. We've built many of them here in just one session. I hope you got a lot out of this, and if you did enjoy it, definitely leave a comment down below and let me know what ideas are buzzing through your head after watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and YouTube is showing a video on your screen now you should watch next. Thanks. Hello, I'm Mike. What if small business leaders...
Awesome demo, Mike. I
I
love
love it.
We'll get to the questions in a little bit, but let's get on to the next demo.
Hi, so this is Sameh from Apify. So if you're like me, it takes me forever to find the best flights or hotels every time I'm traveling, and honestly, I don't really have the time to do it. So this is why I'm going to show you how you can create an AI travel agent using Zapier agents plus Apify's MCP server. All right, so let's start. First thing that we want to do is actually build the server. So we can go to mcp.apify.com, and here we can actually add some actors to my server. So let's choose kiwi.com, which is a great travel search engine. And we just pick that server and save. And now let's pick up another actor that will help us with the actual hotel booking. So I use this AI travel agent here that also has hotels and attractions, and I will do the save changes here. So now I have 2 of these servers on my overall Apify server. I have this nice URL now. I can copy and paste that. Now we have a server that we can use. So let's go back to Zapier and go to the agents section. And here we will actually create the agent ourselves. Start out by creating a new agent, start from scratch. And over here, we will actually create some instructions to follow for the agents and the trigger. So since I want to use this on Slack, I think I will add it to a Slack channel. This way, my whole team can use it. So I will choose Slack here, and let's post a new message to a channel. So a new message posted to a channel is over here. I've already created a channel for this. I will just choose that and make sure to trigger for bot messages no, because you don't want infinite loops every time the bot actually posts a message to that channel. And let's click save. I've already created some instructions here based on some tests I did. And my recommendation is to actually test this on Cloud Desktop, the server that you created. And then that way you can actually have this ready-made prompt for you. Post that. And now it's time to actually invoke some tools. All right. So you're a helpful search assistant, flights and hotel search assistant with access to flights, and let's say AI travel agent. All right. So first thing that you want to do is answer the user with a message. Slack. So let's invoke some tools here. And we can go ahead and actually choose the channel that we want to answer the user in. And over here, you can see I probably want to choose the actual channel itself, just to make sure that the agent is not messaging everybody on my workspace. And for the rest of them, let's leave them empty. With a funny and helpful message. Let's give it some attitude, some personality. Always good to have your travel agent be funny. And then, so clear instructions to the agent. Ask for some follow-up questions. We probably need to know how many people are traveling, what kind of hotel bookings that you need in terms of the number of stars, or at least what the economy class of your flight could be, for example. And then here we'll actually invoke the tools, so /MCP. And let's actually use the URL that we created. So we can go ahead and copy paste that. Click on that just quickly. And for this, I've actually already added the tool here, but in order to actually add it for the very first time, you can just go and connect your account, paste the URL there, streamable HTTP, continue. That will take you to the actual OAuth screen, and you can just allow access. All right. So here we have our server, and now you can actually pick the tools. So let's be more deterministic and pick this tool. So first thing that we want to do is call on Kiwi, and we will let the actual agent take care of all of this stuff. That's why they're there for, right? So we save that. Find the best flights. And then let's call the second tool. Right. We're going to call the second tool here. And now we'll look for the hotels. And that's it. Actually, one fourth step, of course, respond to the user in the same message. And you know what? I want to store all of this into a Google Sheet so I can refer back to it later. And over time, I can actually have some documentary evidence of all the cool options the travel agent came up with, and post these options to. So I'm going to invoke a tool. And we're going to update rows. All right. And let's actually find the sheet that we want to update. All right, so I actually did create a sheet already for this. And it is right there. And I think we're ready to test this agent. All right, so let's test this. So find me the best flights from Prague to London, because I want to visit the Harry Potter Museum. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so let's go and find some hotels near the museum. All right, so the first thing that we'll do, of course, is to send a Slack message. During the agent preview, it will ask you to approve everything, but obviously this is something that once you deploy, you can actually, you don't need to keep approving all of this every time that the agent does an action. All right, so now it's sending the Slack message, and over here I can see, all right, hey there, future wizard. All right, I love my travel agent with a little bit of personality. So let's go back and see what it's doing now. So now it's running the actual client tool, which is the flight search. So it's calling on the first travel agent to actually get the hotels. That's great. And let's go ahead and approve that. And it looks like in a few minutes, I should have some flights for that are going from Prague to London. All right, let's wait on that. Right, it looks like now it actually started to find some results. So some from Ryanair, Wizz Air, EasyJet, and it posted these results to the Slack channel. So if I go on my Slack, I can see here all the results that the travel agent came up with in flights, including the actual hotels and some other additional booking tips. And if I go back, it's starting to populate now the Google Sheets. So I can see here, let me just approve that, and it should momentarily start to populate over here. So now it's updating the Google Sheets. And it will show up on my sheet. So here are the hotels, but it looks like it did not update the actual flights. That's no problem. Let me give it some additional instructions. Update the flights. Including the booking link, so I can book the flight right away from kiwi.com. And now this feedback it actually is queued for Copilot. So the next time the agent runs, it won't make that mistake again. Now it looks like it's updating the sheet. Oh, great. So now we've got the from, the to, and there is my handy booking link there that I can use to actually book the flight right away. Nice. All right. Perfect. So that's your travel agent, and we're excited to see what kind of other use cases you can come up with.
Awesome, Sameh. Love that demo. We've got one more.
So here's what we're building today. We're going to build a simple Zapier chatbot that knows everything about your product and its documentation. So why would you want this? Well, for your users, instead of clicking through dozens of documentation pages to find the answers they are looking for, they can just simply ask this chatbot and it will give them relevant answers, including the links to the sources. And for your organization, instead of spending a lot of time on answering basic customer support questions, you can have this automated with this chatbot. Now, the workflow for this is quite simple. We're going to use an Apify website content crawler to scrape all documentation and convert it to clean Markdown. Then, Zapier will take this data and store it inside Zapier tables with some smart AI indexing. And Zapier AI chatbot will then use the Zapier table as a knowledge source from which to pull its answers. And the best part, once it's set up, it refreshes automatically and runs on autopilot. Now, before we actually get to building this, let me show you this thing in action. So I'm going to ask it a pretty simple question. Can you tell me what is Apify and what are its common use cases in marketing? Now it's searching the index of my Zapier table to retrieve the answer, and here we go. So it's giving me like a big picture overview of what is the Apify platform, what it's being used for, some common use cases in marketing. It links to the sources of where I can learn more in the documentation. So that's pretty cool. Let's follow up on this. Can you explain what are the Apify actors? Cool. So now here's a deep dive on what actually are the actors, which are the tools you can use to retrieve data from any website imaginable, and what they can do for you. It's very neatly formatted. Again, links to the sources. So let's say, can I actually build my own actor? Well, yes, of course I can. And again, it points me to all the different ways in which I can use Apify's platform capabilities to build custom scrapers for the websites or platforms that might not be in our store yet. All right. So how do I integrate Apify with Zapier? Give me a step-by-step guide on how to set it up. Amazing, here we go. It even pulls the images from the documentation of the Zapier UI and how to connect Apify and set up a really simple automation. Okay, that's perfect. So let's say I'm an enterprise customer in need of a custom solution and I want to reach out to sales, right? So I need a large-scale custom solution built for my enterprise needs. Can I contact sales? Oh, perfect. It's even prompting me to leave here my name, email, phone, and company, which I'm going to do. So my name is Lukas, my email, like so. Now for the phone number, I'm just going to use some kind of a placeholder, and my company is Apify. All right, perfect. So it seems like the sales team will get back to me. And yeah, so this is what it can do for you. It's very simple to set up. So let's dive in on how to do this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is head over to the Apify store inside Apify console. I'm going to choose this website content crawler right here. And This is the perfect scraper for this task. It actually extracts text content from the web page and stores it as a markdown, which is perfect for feeding it to AI models in a use case like this. So here at the input tab, I can see all of these different options on how can I set it up. So for example, when you're going to be scraping your documentation, just put the homepage of the documentation, which would be this part right here. You can actually enable something like load URLs from the sitemap as well. Crawler type, I leave this in the default setting. And for this demo, I'm just going to want to restrict it to this particular folder so that we don't have a massive data set that we have to wait on. Now here in the crawler settings, you can utilize these globs rules, which can come in pretty handy to kind of restrict the crawler so that it doesn't run away from you and doesn't start chasing all of the external links and stuff like that. So definitely make sure that you only restrict it to your domain and that you exclude common patterns which you actually don't want to be scraped. So for example, you can have all of these file types. You probably don't want to scrape the search results, right? Or HTTP pages. So this way you will also avoid any duplicates in the dataset. Here I would leave these as they are, and you can also leave everything here on default setting. Now in the HTML processing, all of these is enabled by default, which I recommend you leave on. And in the output setting, make sure you toggle Save Markdown. Now, we actually want to integrate this with Zapier. So I have a Zap prepared here, and I just put in a webhook trigger where I'm going to choose Catch Hook. And this will give me a URL of the webhook, which I'll use back inside my console. I will switch here to the Integrations tab, click on webhook right here, start when run succeeded, and put in the webhook URL. Now this way, when the run of the crawler is finished, it's actually going to be sent, the data set is actually going to be sent inside Zapier. Let's head over back to Zapier so I can show you how to finish this setup. So I already have it all prepared, so I'm just going to quickly fly through this. Don't worry, you're going to get the full template for this, so no need to go into details here. So after I receive the data from Apify, I'm going to fetch this data set with an Apify node right here. And then I'm going to run a simple JavaScript, which will basically extract only the data that I'm interested in, which is URL, metadata title, description, and the markdown content of the page. Also, you don't need to worry. And then I'm going to run a simple JavaScript, which will basically extract only the data that I'm interested in, which is URL, metadata title, description, and the markdown content of the page. Also, you don't need to worry about writing a script like this. You're going to receive it in the template, and I haven't actually written this myself at all. Of course, I've used AI to help me here. Now, after that, you're going to insert this looping function. After it, a create record in Zapier table step, which will actually go through each of the pages and store it in our prepared Zapier table, which we can take a look at here. So I can see that I have prepared 4 fields. One will store the URL and the title of the page. The second one will store the meta description. Long text content, long text field will store the markdown content of the page itself. And here I have this enrich field actually, which you can create like so. And this will actually use AI to parse the markdown content of the page to extract relevant keywords so that the chatbot and faster orient itself across this data set before diving deep into each particular page to retrieve the information for the user. Okay, we're back to Apify, and we're gonna run this scraper. So I'm gonna click start here. Now my actor is building in the background, it's starting the crawler, and I should see data being populated here in this output tab very shortly. One interesting piece of information I forgot to mention is that this website content crawler is actually being used by the likes of Intercom to actually power the knowledge source of their Intercom's Fin AI agent, which is also a customer support chatbot. Cool, I can see the crawler already discovered 48 different pages in this folder. I can see that my data is being populated here. Now, this might take a minute or two, Keep in mind that when you're going to be running this crawler for thousands of pages, it might actually take quite a bit of time. For 1,500 pages, maybe like an hour. And boom, we're done. We got 50 different pages. Now, this should actually trigger the webhook I set up earlier. So let's take a look at our Zap. Now, if I'm going to go here into Zap runs and refresh this, I should see very shortly, yes, there it is. The webhook has been triggered. Now it's going through all of this workflow, and I should actually see data being populated here inside this Zapier table in real time. Right, very cool. I can see that these keywords enriched field is being worked on by the AI as well. Perfect. So this is how you get the data for your chatbot. And the last part of this is setting up the chatbot itself. So let's take a look at this. Okay, now to finish our setup, we're going to go into Zapier Chatbots, and we're going to tie this all together. So here in the instruction tabs, in this directive window, I'm going to need to create some sort of a system prompt for the chatbot. Now, this all looks pretty complicated, but it's not. You're actually going to use AI to write the system prompt for you. Basically, go into ChatGPT, Claude, or any LLM client of your choice. Briefly describe your use case or what you're trying to solve here. Tell it what's your structure of the table from which it should pull the data. Paste everything in and tell it to basically create a system prompt for a chatbot. And it should give you something like this, which you're going to paste inside here. Here in this knowledge tab, I'm going to simply connect my Zapier table, which I already did. And I've also included this llms.txt webpage, which is something like a sitemap for AI. You might or may not have this. This is basically giving the chatbot like some extra index to orient itself, which is very useful when you get that scale of like 1,000+ pages like me, but it's not completely necessary. Here in this logic tab, you can see I've also set up this collect leads thing, which you might have saw earlier, where I put my personal information. This is basically triggered when a user inputs certain keywords here, like sales, enterprise, or account manager, and basically prompts the user to give this information, which is then stored inside another table, which you can then utilize to reach out back to those users. Here I can play around with the look of my chatbot. In the integrations tab, I can even connect this to something like Slack or Facebook Messenger so that my customers can talk to me through these channels as well. In the AI model tab, I'm going to simply select my AI provider and select the model, which I've chose Claude Sonnet 4.5 here. And there's some other extra settings here. Now, I can then simply share this chatbot with this public link, like so, which opens up this window where I did the demo earlier. Or I can simply embed it on my site as like a pop-up window or an inline chat. And that's about it. Like I said, it's very simple to set up and get going, and you're going to get all of the templates for this at the end. And that's it. You've just built a simple AI chatbot that knows everything about your product from its documentation, provides trustworthy answers with sources, and requires zero coding. What you can do from here is expand its knowledge source. You can point the website content crawler at your blog posts, your help articles, or even product pages. And this same pattern can work for any website, not just documentation. Customer support can use it for the knowledge base, like we just showed. Sales teams can use it for the product information, and content teams can use it to make their blog searchable by AI. So if you want to try this for yourself, Apify has a free tier which you can sign up to and test this entire workflow without paying anything. Now, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat and we can tackle them through our live Q&A. So here's what we're building.
Awesome. Really good demos, everyone. Before we jump into the live Q&A, just want to quickly call out, if you like these types of topics, AI and automation, agents, there's some upcoming sessions I want to point out. On October 30th, there is Zapier plus Apify social media workflows for marketing, covering a couple bullet points here: social media monitoring, viral trend discovery, and vibe scraping.
Matt, your audio is reverbing.
Okay. Can you speak to this, Alicia?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll chime in as Matt. Hi, everyone. Clearly not AI here. We have 2 upcoming webinars. I've been in the back end, just so you know. I'm the webinar producer. I haven't just been lurking, but hopefully helping a little bit. On October 30th, there is the Zapier and Apify social media workflows for marketing. C. Mike Russell and Rob Benjamin use Zapier and Apify to transform social data into actions. And let me promote so you can actually click the link now on stage. There you go. So you can register for this amazing webinar, as well as the promo code Zapier_Apify for 25% off. That's really exciting. And then on the Zapier side of things, on November 18th, we have a Lovable in Zapier Automating Web Apps webinar. Discover how Lovable's AI app builder and Zapier's automation platform can help you build connected apps. And I will promote that one more time just so it's easier for everyone to click and register now. Now that we have Matt back, I will let him take it over, but you may see me again. Thanks everyone for sticking with us.
Awesome. Thank you. Alicia, is my audio any better? I switched over to my MacBook. Does this seem good to folks?
There's a little reverb, but keep talking. I'll sit here muted and let you know and chime in if necessary.
Sounds good. Okay. Just a quick reminder to everyone, we've already got some questions, but please keep the questions coming. Just go over to that questions tab, click upvote on questions that you like and you want us to answer, and then enter your own questions. We've got a few minutes. How's it going, Alicia?
Matt, it appears that your audio is still having a bit of reverb, so I can try to hop in with the chat if you want to play around.
Please take over the questions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. We're excited for you to be here. It looks like we've been pretty active in the conversation. And so, Lucas, it looks like there's a few Apify questions here. And Sameh, if you want to answer, I'm just going to go for it and let me know. Hi, I generated outreach. Here we go. You can actually read it. Hi, I generated outreach messages using Apify and Crew AI, but got stuck automating message delivery on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. What is a way of building a fully automated, or what are some tips and tricks for building a fully automated, cost-free process, if you have any?
I think, Sameh, you might be able to speak a little bit regarding Crew AI. You've been playing around with it.
Yeah. I guess when it comes to the cost, I'm just trying to see what would be the best way to optimize the cost. Obviously, you can use the Zapier promo code that we just provided now. That should lower the cost a bit. One thing that also, so I encourage people to do actually, again, I'm going to show for the MCP, is to actually test the MCP on the different actors. So there are multiple actors for the same use case. And I think, with the MCP, you can actually iterate very quickly on testing those actors. And then you can actually calculate exactly how much each run costs you over time, right? So for example, it is a bit complicated, the pricing sometimes. So this kind of iteration allows you to say, okay, I need, let's say if you're scraping social network, I need this many results. How, this actor costs this much per result, this actor costs this much per result. So this kind of, trial and error really helps. I think that's kind of also the same concept that I used when I built this Zapier agent with MCP. I tested it in Cloud Desktop first. And the key part of that is the MCP is a great iteration tool, right? Especially when you have 8,000 tools at the Apify side. I think that is, an excellent way to actually iterate. And it's much faster to do it, let's say on Cloud Desktop and MCP, much it'll save you a lot of time as opposed to going to Crew AI, because Crew AI obviously is a very powerful platform, but it's also a super technical platform. So you actually build a lot of it in their CLI. So my recommendation is always to kind of do a lot in the iteration stage. And one way to do that is to use Cloud Desktop on MCP to iterate on the different actors, and over time figure out, okay, what is the most cost efficient way that you can lower that use case.
And also, ChatGPT is slowly rolling out their MCP capabilities to like more users. So I think pretty soon you're also going to see like a native Apify app inside the ChatGPT ecosystem, so you can actually talk to our MCP server there and do exactly what Sameh just told you about. You can basically like talk to our store to help you pick out the right actors for your use case and like test them out on the fly with some sample data sets. So for example, you can tell it to like, hey, can you scrape, I don't know, plumbers in New York, give me first 100 results, and you can actually take a look at how the data set will look like inside the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We have time for one more question. And I think it ties everything back into what we've been talking about today. A special thank you to everyone, especially Sameh, Lukas, and Mike for your amazing demos. What is a tip that you can give someone so they can start using real-time web data today? I think one is a simple actionable item so everyone can get up and running no matter what the skill level set is.
Yeah, I can give you one on that. Get started straight away and don't be discouraged that it seems like techie, and particularly that I go a million miles an hour showing how these things are done. Just dive in and go through step by step. What I would say is Zapier and Apify have amazing documentation. So get started with something like an Apify template. And then just vibe code. There's so many people are vibe coding apps. You can actually vibe code Apify actors to get the data you need from a website. So find the website that you need that data from, and then feed that into whatever your favorite vibe coding tool is, whether that's Claude Code, whether that's Codex from OpenAI or something else, and get it to build on a template that Apify provide you. Then plug it into Zapier, get the data cleaned up with AI. It couldn't be simpler, but maybe you just need it in a little bit of a slower form. So talk to the folks like Sameh and Lukas who will be able to guide you through how to do that. Yeah, it's super helpful.
Thank you so much, Mike. Anything you want to add, Sameh or Lukas, before we wrap?
I just wanted to iterate what Mike said. Actually, it's the right point. Actually, last year, I was or at least a year and a half ago, I was a CMO. I had no idea how to create any kind of low code, let alone work on CLI or Cursor. So for me, I think anybody can do it. There's nothing stopping. We live in super exciting times. Anybody can go and when we do talk to a lot of Apify users, and this is kind of like one of the most kind of heartwarming things, is that you find all these people around the globe who are basically former like CSOs or former business people who probably haven't actually done any HTML or JavaScript, and then suddenly they're making agents 7 or 8 months. It always seems very difficult, but these days it's amazing how fast you can learn to do all this just by putting in like the sweat equity. So I totally iterate what Mike says.
Yeah, totally agree on all of that. And we're actually trying to make it easier for our users. And we're going to be we have a lot of steps planned on how to make it easier to create these sectors and to get started. Like historically, we've been a very developer heavy tool. So we kind of come from this background, but with all of these AI tools and live coding and the ability to like create pretty much anything with very little experience of coding, like our user base has been expanding so rapidly. Like a lot of people are utilizing Apify right now for a bunch of different use cases. So we're definitely going to be trying to make it even easier to get started with this.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I want to reiterate that a recording is going to be sent out within the next couple business days. You can also access the same recording if you want to rewatch at whatever speed is your preference, using the same link that you joined using today. Special thank you to our speakers, Sameh, Lukas, and Mike. I know there was a lot of information here, and everyone was stuck with us and listened to it, and I think everyone got something out of it. And like Mike said, just try some vibe coding. I know it sounds so hippy-dippy or Gen Z or whatever terminology you want, but just go with the vibe and vibe prompt, and it can be fun. And this is coming from a person who's adverse to anything technologically speaking, because I have a soul of an 85-year-old. So thank you, everyone, again, and I hope everyone has a happy rest of your day, night, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.